it's just really tough overall to kind of see what Immortals is going to bring to the table in their matchup, and they're kind of a wild card because of that. And even with complexity now, much like a lot of the other teams, it's sort of the lower end of the Pro League. They're a bit tough to judge as well. But now, you know, they got Slimmy at the helm. The core is starting to look a little bit better. They are one of the teams, actually, you know, you would expect a team like this to kind of be close to relegation, but they are actually still out of that bubble. So if they're able to steal a map here or a map off of one of their last matchups, they're actually going to be safe to just carry on into the next season. They're not doing that bad at all, actually. And I think they're like 3 or 4 wins ahead of the next team below them that is in the relegation pool. So as long as they can keep stacking up a few more before the end of the season, they should be in good arms to be able to remain in the Pro League without having to worry about relegation. Yeah,
and this is a direct counter. They're going to go 5-man B. Immortals only has 1 player here, and it's Lucas is all alone in checkers.
And Surreal going to try to sneak in there. They are looking to try and check towards that corner before they do go for this cross. Actually, possibly not. They might have called it clear. The flashbang goes in. Lucas smart to hug the corner. Now he's going to be able to spot. They can hear those shots, but they don't know where he is just yet. Sneaks in one. Sneaks in for a second. Dink down to 5 HP. Now he's going to hug the corner, wait for them to push out towards him. And getting aggressive, though, it does open up the window for Android to sneak up from behind. It's not only there either, but Def getting a kill with the Deagle, taking down Steel. Now we're down to a 3v3. The B site, though, has gone under the control of Complexity, but it's a little bit hesitant here. There's still a lot of ground that can be retaken by the Immortals very, very easily if they choose to get aggressive with it. Unfortunately, the first battle taken, not a successful one for the Immortals. Def knocking out FNX over there. That clears out the T-Halls leading into this site. Bolts really hunting for the head of Surreal here, but not coming out on top, so he's going to rely on Henny to get it instead. But no, Henny's cut back off before he can get behind coverage by Android, and now Bolt's finally sinking that kill. The problem is this time has gone by. He does have the kit to try and jump back onto the bomb here, but it's the perfect plant position, and Def sneaks out to hit that final headshot and give Complexity to the pistol.
Yeah, and Def basically won that round for his team. Not only did he get 3 kills, he's the one who bought the smoke and the double flash. So he had no, armor or anything like that. Lucas does a good job getting these 2. But after that, that kill in heaven was so important that Def got with the Deagle. Oh, maybe he didn't buy the smoke flash. He just bought a Deagle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we probably could have picked that off someone that like gone down on the way in or something. Now we are going to see Def trying to go off early on here now that he's armed himself up with the AK. The rest of the Complexity guys taking very fast control of the B halls here too. And while it was looking like Lucas wanted to try and challenge it after losing half of his HP literally within the first 10 seconds of the round, he'll change his tune pretty quickly. We are still going to see other forms of aggression rolling out from the Immortals camp, however, as they counter.
I think FNX is going to flash over and then he's going to peek.
We have Steel sitting back down below. FNX, though, falling back, not going for the flash out just yet if he would decide to go for that. Right now, kind of just paying attention to the garage to cover off Steel in the event they push through. But it is looking like most of Complexity is still going to follow through inside of A-main and just go for your typical outside execute, which means that flank, when it does roll in, has to be ultra effective very quickly. Otherwise, this site is going to get overwhelmed within a matter of seconds here. Whereas the utility starting to get brought out from the Complexity side of things. A little bit response coming back in from the Immortals and Onen. Bolts is able to sneak off a kill there on Surreal. Steel also getting one on the flank. And it doesn't seem they're paying too much mind to that flank currently. As Steel walks in, just gets another free kill against Slemmy. FNX also getting one against Desi. Now it's just Android alone. And while he may be able to catch Steel, no, he won't even get that. Steel ends up with a triple kill at the end of it. And Immortals do upset, immediately bringing us to 1-1.
Yeah, and that flank on the boost, I mean, they go towards A main, they don't clear it, he flanks them right away. Android out of position, I believe he was holding B, but it's like if he's holding B and they hit A, he either needs to be making a play at B, or he needs to be watching their back, or he needs to be something, like just be in the play somehow. Instead, he's so far away, and Steel gets, what was that, a 3K?
Yeah.
I mean, just flanks 2 people, gets the AK, and then ends up getting the 3rd, so.
Yeah, and they didn't even seem to
realize. That's the problem with those lurks, though. Like, you have to just be, you have to be in position to do something.
They didn't even seem to realize that he was lurking either on the Complexity side, because after he gets the first, I think it's the first kill or the second kill there, going up towards A-main, they're not even paying attention to him, so the kill he gets after he picks up the AK, he just gets it for free. They're not even trying to counter that or anything like that. Android, though, patience plays up for him and not peeking out towards mid-garage. Unfortunately, not paying attention to the B-halls is also going to bite back at you pretty hard, as Lucas just waltzes right up, gets himself a casual triple kill, even gets the bomb onto the ground too, and while he's not going to actively look to defend it right now, he will hold the outskirts and prevent Complexity from going back over in the direction of the B-bomb site so that the rest of his teammates can safely just jump on the A site or in mid here, prep for the push, and kind of just try to draw Complexity out and end out this round. So there's Steel with the 4th. Good response from Def on the Deagle there, picking up at least 1 more kill here for his own team and bringing down that Immortals economy just a tad. But now there's a lot more to be done, and while he will tag out 1 more, Henny still gets the kill before any additional damage can be done.
Yeah, it should be a full save now for coL. Nice deagle entry by Android, but Lucas just on this perfectly timed flank. Bucks not expecting it whatsoever. They just made Deke presence at B, and then they immediately, stopped fighting it. Lucas just takes advantage.
Yeah, gets himself the pretty...
Lucas has improved, like, so much this past year and a half. He has gotten so much better.
He's starting to look like one of the more consistent players overall for Immortals in a lot of ways.
Looking like their best player.
Becoming like the new Phelps in a certain way. After he's a...
Well, a much different type of player, though.
Yeah.
Like, a much more... Like, a player that I would just be like... You never have to worry about him messing up or anything like that, you know? You know Phelps is going to, like, make his plays and he's going to have his moments, but then also there's going to be times as Plexi only with about 20 combined health and just try to get the bomb down.
They did sneak up to the site. I don't think Lucas can even wrap the corner quickly enough there, so they do get the bomb down. That even sneaks another kill.
Good eco. I mean, that's a full eco with 3 kills. But back to my point, Phelps is kind of that player who Phelps giveth and Phelps taketh, you know? Like, he's going to win a ridiculous round, but then there's going to be a lot of times where he's going to kind of give it up and overextend and whatnot and put you in a bad situation. And you kind of live with that, right? Lucas, in my opinion, is a different type of player because he doesn't take like those giant risks a lot of the time. Much more of like a complementary piece. Is able to kind of support other players, be in that role where he does that, but he also can hold his spot really well on CT side, kind of do it all on T side. I don't know. He's very, very impressive. And then his deagle's like insane, man. His deagle is ridiculous.
So into the first gun round we will go now with Complexity lagging behind slightly after being ecoed out by the Immortals now. They're going to move in. They actually do catch FNX slightly off guard, but Henny is still here. Bolts will get eliminated after Henny picks up his first kill from Quad, and no, they're still going out into him. Thankfully, the second shot he fires out is only going to be a partial hit through the wall. Still, though, now you get FNX in position, and he's going to go off, bringing it down to just Android. The overall hit makes no traction beyond the big red box, and it's just Android left alive now in the 1v3, trying to hunt out Henny at the very least, but he gets a very dirty peek at the end there to close out, and the round very quickly goes into Immortals' favor.
Yeah, and I think that was 3 players trying to come out Dora with no highway smoke or anything like that. It's just, might have even been 4. Just such an easy hold when you're around those yellow barrels. I mean, if you're like the second or third guy and you're just trying to go out that door, you literally have no chance. It's like all up to that first guy getting that highway kill, and if he doesn't, it's just going to be a quick mow down. And FNX just stops them in their tracks.
Well, Complexity back down onto the half investment here now with just little bits of utility purchased up for it. Everybody very directly probably going to be looking at this, looking at this round, probably just leading itself into to be another A hit here as we can already see flashbangs going out. Bolt's ready for it though. There's 1. 2, looking for more maybe as the Molotov also gets in the way, but finally a good flashbang against him is going to lead to his own death. Still though, in comes the flank from up top on Steel. FNX pushes back in, and the only one that's left alive was going to be the late entry through, I believe, the Squeaky hallway, who now changed his mind, went back into A main instead. That's Slemmy, who's got a P250 armor and a flashbang. Probably not hoping the world of really making any big impact here. The flash hits, so it's actually pretty well. It's going to push Henny back and chasing down that kill, but the nade unfortunately acts as just a wall sitting in the way of Slemmy that prevents him from getting not only that kill, but any additional pickups as well.
Yeah, and that second round, that Complexity loss just put them into a pretty big hole. Immortals, pretty good money. You know, they have all the Molotovs and everything they kind of need for a couple rounds in a row here. Now Complexity gets on a full buy, though. See 1 kill across the board for Surreal, Slemmy, and Desi. Android already was 7. And Depp off that great pistol round. Only gets 2 kills, after that, but...
Yeah, so... Smoke's actually from both sides over here in B, but Steel doesn't seem to mind either of them. He's going to continue to push back in, even as Android caught flashed out too. So
really nice by Steel.
Really smooth, and he just moves right in, gets the kill, and is going to casually walk into back into the B side. They've got the 5v4 advantage. No need to push beyond that. They're happy to have that.
A lot of people have been doing that lately, where you kind of just push behind your own smoke. coL likes to do it when we see SK play Cash, and he makes a 4v5 like right off the bat a lot of the time. Now we see 2 players inside the door, just a crushing nade in A main, and Bolts and FNX over here at A. looking to hold.
Bolts actually didn't pay attention though, or didn't hear that player creeping up to his left, so Death actually sneaks away with that one, and not only that, but Surreal hit the shot on FNX too, and then he gets another one on Henny, who, again, a lot of misinformation or something like that being spread around from the Immortals this time, as they just seem really unaware of the situation. So it leads into a 4v2 retake now, 2v3 after Lucas gets the kill, but it's at a heavy cost to his own health pool. Steel has to be clean on his own ranch, because otherwise this could be a quick closeout from the others. Thankfully for him, his first target's going to be Slemmy, down at 3 HP. No damage at all taken. Fast trade comes out over inside of A main, however, and unfortunately for Steel, he's not able to get too much else done. Complexity win it out. They're right back on the warpath here. Unfortunately, it is going to take at least 2 rounds here to break the Immortals economy.
Yeah, I mean, they could break it after this round.
Yeah, they go pretty heavily into it.
It's a huge investment coming out from Immortals. We're going to see the double op come out from Immortals, and if Immortals does win this round, it's going to force Complexity on another eco round. So
yeah, some players have really not been hitting their marks too well. It's been a lot of clean ones. You just have the scoreboard open, and you can see, I think it's Desi and Slemmy. Both only have 1 kill each currently. So they're lagging behind quite a bit. It's Def and Android that seem to be finding almost all of the impact in all reality for Complexity here so far. And now Immortals is going to change up their shape a little bit, no longer having the player up on the B platform. Instead, they just put Lucas safely behind the checkers box and boot Steel up on top. And the event Complexity do try to go for that mid control. Still very much the same story on the side of Complexity's offense, though, as they're once again just going to send most of their players inside of A main after a slight delay here. Obviously, to be a little bit careful upon entering it due to this positioning now, but FNX actually hits through the box there, so not going to hit the second one as well. Just off its mark by a little bit there, so won't hit the shot either. Molotov deployed though, so they're not going to get followed up by any aggressive push just yet from the Complexity side of things. And now Desi is ready to push himself out from Squeaky. Unfortunately, so are the CTs to counter him right back out. Molotov's going to go in. It should burn him further down the hallway as he tries to escape it yet again. And overall here, 40 seconds left. Complexity already having used a tad of their utility. They still have plenty more to use, granted, but still already kind of playing their hand out a bit. They sent the bomb over towards the B side, but even there, it's been relatively unsuccessful. Android, another battle, I imagine, with either Steel or Lucas, has been brought down to 16 HP, and Lucas is just going to finish the job there. Def did finally make a kill, but actually Lucas is in a bit of a rough spot here. Still plays it off well, though. Catches the kill in the vents. I think he knows there's another player pushing up on him from the B halls over there, so he's just waiting for that push to actually go back in. Much more heavily focused on the vents themselves, but finally does meet his demise against Slemmy. In all that time, though, FNX was able to get the op up on top here, and him and Henny just execute the last 3 players in sequence as they pick up their 6th, and as you mentioned before, reset that Complexity economy.
Just so well played by Lucas there. I mean, he gets the kill, he recognizes they're coming through vents, he doesn't rotate. He had a teammate to be with him, they didn't over-rotate at all. The calls were going out at A that, hey, this is probably a fake, there's only 1 door, there's only 1 A main. So they played it very disciplined over on Immortal's side. And Lucas, again, with just a great hold, man. I'm telling you, this guy he's just improved so much.
Yeah, and seems to be sort of leading the, just in all the clutch
Fallen
situations.
Fallen actually called it like 6 to 8 months ago. I remember Fallen was, someone asked him, who has been like impressing you lately, and he was like, Lucas. I think Lucas is going to end up being really good, and I think this is what we're seeing.
Also, Bolt's picking up a nice double kill, now triple kill at the start here. Complexity here on this this forced up investment as they do try to go for pistols and armor, and a lot of their players hasn't really gone too well. Bolt's dead, but got 3 kills before he did finally go down, so I think that's a equatable trade at the end of the day. And then we do see Henny pushing forward to close out on those last 2 Immortals, securing their position once again here now, and for Complexity, still going to have to be saving here.
Yeah, I might be a bit biased because players like Lucas, who can be complementary pieces but also thrive very well, are my kind of favorite players to play with, because it just makes everyone else's jobs a lot easier when you have a player like that. I actually think that's the most difficult spot and role to be really good on. I actually think it's easier to be in that star player role a lot of the time, where you kind of just have all the options available to you.
Your teammates setting up for you and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So they are trying to, oh my god, they dodged 3 really close shots as they try to set up for that Shroud boost early on here. Henny even hitting the first shot here against Def.
Don't do it, Henny. Don't go for the, don't go. Don't do it.
Getting really lucky right now and not taking too much damage from this end.
Do it.
He gets the second kill as he knows there's one in the cubby, so goes for the 3rd and gets it. He's down to 2 bullets, mind you, in the op. How often do you actually see the op running out of ammo in a play? So he knows he's got 1 more, I think, hiding out in the cubby somewhere, but He's already been taken care of. So as Desi moves away from this one here, there's not going to be a whole lot for him to play off of. Just outside of the garage, hoping to line up a good angle and a headshot against either Steel or Lucas when they push him in a moment. But the round itself, almost no way for Desi to bounce this back, and it's going to be the 8th again for Immortals, as Complexity should be able to sequence this into their next gun round. And there you go, ends up just peeking into multiple from Immortals there, and they make it a quick cleanup.
I love it. Not peeking him in that scenario, not like giving him what he wants, you know, just falling back essentially to T-spawn. It's like, no, don't give him anything. Just sit there and wait, and wait and wait. I mean, I know FNX kind of pushed him at the end, but you saw his teammates were waiting in mid-garage, not giving him like an easy frag or anything.
And even consider finally getting his shots as well. It took him quite a few attempts, but he does hit off those kills. And now Complexity into the buy again. Unfortunately, their early attempts to take that mid control as they boosted, I think it was Steel that went up, or excuse me, not Steel, I think it was Def that went up on top. But the Molly pushes him back nice and early. So it also gives time for the Vents player to set up too, as if that Molly was not placed there, more than likely Steel would have had his back turned or just wouldn't have really been ready for that push. And it could have ended pretty poorly for him. Early on, though, again, it's looking very similar to some of the previous rounds here on the Complexity end. Molotov is going to force Steel actually out, but the problem is there's nobody in the mid-garage to punish him. This is all going to be the boost players, and they take very long to set up as well. He's got a Molly in hand, but also blinded back out at all his teammates, saving him so much right now. With FNX and Henny finding those first 2 kills, along with the Molotov setup, is going to prevent anyone else from going through for the next 5 to 10 seconds here. It's all looking great on the Immortals cam. Much like many of the gun rounds in the past, Complexity's early attempts to even take little tidbits of map control here are being completely denied and pushed back time and time again. As Steel now just, okay, there's probably not going to be anyone coming mid, so I'll take up the vent spot. And even there, he's not even really needed. Steel's supposed to be this assistant player, but all the players in their respective positions are just handling it solo at this point. Slummy goes out, another shot for Henny, and there you go, a closeout round once again from the Immortals as they take basically no damage.
It's kind of funny how Complexity, like, well, first off, that round, they just kind of throw the Molotovs, and then it's very disconnected. The Molotov just kind of showed them that they were going to go out middle, and then they go out middle like 5-7 seconds later, but the rotate's already there. But Complexity and their players' skill sets, and this is kind of like the problem I have with them and their team, is that I don't think their players play well in any type of like a structured environment, you know? So it's like you have Slimmy, and Slimmy's a really smart player and a really smart guy, and he's going to be trying to add structure and whatnot to the team. But I don't think their players like thrive under that at all. You know, like for the future, you need to be able to play with structure, right? Like unless you're, you know, older like Fnatic maybe. But obviously, none of these players are at the same level.
They do catch Steel getting a little bit aggressive here. Lucas too found in the open, so that's actually 2 very crucial entries at the start. There's no one in position now to stop him from taking full B control. Molotov just randomly in the middle can be easily avoided. Now Henny trying to move back up and hit the shot still. Molotov prevents the plant for right now. Again, not a huge deal, so he can just go behind the box, but this does set them up if the retake starts well, because this is going to be a much easier one to get the defuse off of than the previous position he was trying to plant for. So it's all about just hitting that initial entry, and I think they're going to look for FNX to try and find that. Problem is FNX, if he just goes directly through the useless room here and crosses out, there is someone waiting on that outside area to his left. Not only this too, but Def got the first kill on Bolts, so this is looking like a lost cause very, very quickly. And there's that player outside that immediately takes down FNX. Def also hits the shot onto Henny, so a complete reverse swing all of a sudden, with Complexity winning the round with no players lost.
Yeah, no players lost on a couple of Deagle armors. That shows. Whew, he's like spamming the D, and it's still working out for him.
Yeah. Normally it's not going to go very well at all.
The Deeg entry through a smoke, double entry. You don't see that very often.
Well, they make it work, and off of that Complexity, well, they find themselves a third. The question here is consistency, because they've escaped with quite a few rounds that they had no business doing so, and were immediately reset afterwards. Immortals obviously having the cash to buy back into it. They can do that same thing once again here. The boost-up situation is going to be interesting, though, as Steel going up here. Oh, spots Def first, but Def responds in his own regard, taking down Steel. He was already prepped for that one, so once more, it's early advantage to Complexity. Now we need to see them capitalize upon it. They are going out towards mid. Def's keeping an eye on vents in case Lucas wants to swing out, and he does go for it, unsuccessfully as well. There's another opener that comes up from Complexity. and limiting the defense of the Immortals quite heavily, but FNX, a nice shot, was looking all over the place to find one of these Ts to execute from mid with the op, and he finally hits it. And now after that, well, Complexity just losing one player in mid, they decide to completely abandon it. Henny clips off the shot onto Android, almost executes him, but it is going to be a leg, so he survives with 14, and now it sends him right back in the other direction. I'm unsure if they're going to try to split this in mid and try to send players in A main, or if all five are just going to follow through in A main, but either way, the defenses on that site are incredibly weak now. So the only real player they're going to have to worry about, unless they go mid, is FNX, who has rotated in and is trying to get himself into just the usual quad spot right now. Time not really going to be too big of a problem. They still have the ability to set this up. On the Immortals side, however, they did also sort of read into this, and they prepped to put Bolts up top, but the jump out first, a missed shot from FNX, an immediate trade from Surreal. Now Bolts coming back in, trying to find the impact, but just can't get enough of it done. So it's left to Henny now in a 1v3. At the moment, moving back up to the truck and out towards mid position, but well, this may just be an attempt to peek back in. I doubt he's actually going to go for the whole retake itself. Hopefully just finding a shot or two on the players to execute them and then probably falling back to keep the economy in a bad spot. The round itself is definitely going to be complexities and not much being spotted by Henny, so he does pull back here to look solely for the save now.
No, let's see what Immortals' money is like, because after losing that, yeah, so they'll probably buy if Henny's able to keep this op. It's not going to be the best buy. I don't even think they'll have any M4s. As they are only going to get 1,900 each for this round.
Henny also taking out one of the players and who's going to hunt him down. There are a few more killing, but as long as he doesn't peek this, he should be safe. They're all still way too far back, and they know as well that their money's a little bit more delicate here. They've actually built it up quite quickly, so you know, for those that stayed alive, obviously they're going to have good amounts, but for the rebuys, they're going to end up still around like 2K or so, which isn't that great.
Yeah, very fortunate for them that FNX missed that initial shot. I think if he hits that, he wins the round. Like, they win the round, because Bolts would follow up with probably two more and most likely stay alive, as, you know, one of the other players still be in like a main or fork probably.
Yeah, so Immortals do decide to force into this round here, and we're going to see them do the boost up. It's unfortunate for them, as Complexity have been sending quite a few players to Sunroom in the past round, but this time they decide not to. They go back to something they did, I think, on like the second or third actually, which really screwed them over, because it allowed for just straight up aggressive pressure to come out from Immortals into those B-holes and flank them. This time, though, Immortals not really reading into that so much, so we won't see that flank happening, but we do see an early rotation possibly working its way over from Lucas. A lot of the big guns are positioned on that B-bomb site, and for the most part, they just have pistols and I think one FAMAS sitting on A here. They've tried to stack it, but already losing Bolts. They are definitely going to need Lucas in the site to try and hold things off, as Complexity really just biding their time. They've already picked up a kill in that process, and they still have plenty of more time to waste before they even set up for the full take here with smokes and whatnot.
This is really smart by Complexity, kind of back off a little bit. Let's wait, see if we could, you know, spread out their defense and then reevaluate the situation. Because you see, I mean, Immortals brought over Lucas, and he's over on B by himself. That's what you want to do in situations like this. You don't want to force it.
Yeah, still kind of reading into it now as Complexity will start to creep back over into A main here, but Immortals also getting aggressive in mid. You can see Lucas getting really up close over there, the possibility to push into garage and counter these guys out. And the timing on this may work out well too, as they're moving away over the boost here, but they drop down just in time to be able to spot Lucas before he wraps around Big Red. Obviously, Lucas is going to give this up, but Steel trying to battle it out, takes Sullen to get that first kill now. FNX, the only hope left here, gets one with the Deagle, is given time to pick up the AK, but he's low, 40 HP, and that's not going to let him battle out any further. Surreal trades him. Now it's just Henny pushing back forward here. He is going to make an attempt at this, but it's going to be a quick one, as Android immediately knocks him out and gives Complexity their fifth as we head into the last round of the half.
Yeah, and so what happened there is they have, you know, pretty much everybody towards A. They get a kill onto Bolts as he was trying to kind of make a play around A main. And then they just wait. And they wait until they have to worry about B. And wait until they have to worry about mid to vents. And then that's finally when they go and they throw smokes out A, and then they wait even longer, and the players go out highway after that. Because when they throw smokes at A, if there is a highway player, he's going to look towards A. Android gets aggro in mid, gets that kill, and it just spreads everything out. It makes Immortals have to think about everything. Think about B, think about all these different spots, and it makes winning the round so much easier. So that was very, very well played by Complexity and Slimmy.
Yeah, we've got Desi picking up a kill against FNX as Immortals are kind of drawn to the brink here onto the last round. For the most part, just working with random UMPs, Deagles, and whatnot, and not really being able to trade back a whole lot of damage onto the complexity side is certainly not going to bode well for them either. They are trying to set up for just a default 8 push. All right, Bolts from Whitebox just destroys Dap. He was barely even peeking for that, but still somehow hits it. Nicely played on him. And all of a sudden, down to a 4v3. Still plenty of room to go, however, before Immortals really do have the advantage here. But they have read into it properly, as Desi's also going to get dinked a little bit. Only down to 50, now 48 after getting hit. And actually lines himself up for a great trade on the steal there. So taking him out, not sure if he's going to expect to find Lucas still sitting back up on top of the red box. But Immortals have fully committed to this. And the problem is now they're so far away from the B rotation. And as Complexity walk in, they are going to find it an open door site.
Yeah, so this should be Complexity's 6th round of the half, and a lot is going to come down to this T-pistol. There's no kit on Immortals, just should be a very easy round for Complexity to close out.
Yeah, no utility really to work with here either to try to push their way back in. Smokes in heaven, Bolts giving it away. Lucas as well, I think, already firing off a few shots, so they should know that both these players are going to end up pushing back out. They've even got a flank on the way from Desi too. Immortals, I think, have looked to that, so they may check and be able to counter out Desi, but that's not going to be a huge victory here. And he does successfully walk in, killing one, spotting the second for sure. He's down at like 4 now, so he'll just chill in that position. And again, Desi finally pushing back in. It secures that last kill as Complexity do come back to life towards the end of the half. We'll end up with a close scoreline of 6-9. We'll have to see if Immortals can get their own strength back here in the second half, or if it's going to be Complexity with the swing comeback that'll take map number 1. Stick with us, guys.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Legion Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
We are back again, folks, here. Complexity putting up a bit more of a fight. Took them a little bit to get the kind of boots on the ground here, but after it was looking surefire for Immortals to just completely destroy this first map, Complexity came back into it, and now they sit at a very close 6-9 scoreline here on Cash.
Yeah, that huge swing round. I mean, both teams won a big swing round. Steel, I believe it was, when he got boosted up on boost, and Complexity went towards A, and then he got that 3K after flanking 2 players. And then, obviously, when Android double Deagle enteried and they won with 5 alive and got all of Immortals' guns, both those rounds played a key part in that half into kind of propelling each team into winning a large string of rounds.
Well, we are jumping pretty quickly here into the second half now, so let's take a look at how Immortals will fare on their T side, and almost directly descending all 5 into the B halls. Probably not going to see much of a delay on this play either here, but look at how heavily Complexity is right into that. They've already got 3 sitting on the site too, so they are expecting this as they do play for the A retake here now. And it's going to be Immortals that lead the charge first off here. Steel taking down Desi, following it through. They eliminate Android in heaven. It's just Surreal left alive, but he's dodging these bullets. Actually stays alive for way longer than I would have thought, but still only ends up with 1 trade as the guys from Immortals do try to push their way back in. So it is left to Slemmy and Def on the rotate here, and there's not much positioning for them to work with. They have to take the risk. They have to push back in. Immortals are not going to give them any room to work with. So as Slemmy does start first off here, spots the player over at the generator. But as soon as they walk in, there's 3 more players that can peek back out and decimate them. Steel already finding Slemmy, and then follows it through with Def as well, as they take clean control of the pistol, and Steel ends up with a nice 4K on it.
Yeah, and I mean, Complexity had the numbers. Not necessarily, obviously, they didn't have 5 people there, but, you know, with that many people there, kind of expect more to happen for them. That Molotov coming out, a headshot, though. Just brings them out into the open. And despite 3 players being there, they still won the round. That's the A retake and the B retake on this map is like so common. I actually like a lot of the time, especially in these online matches, where you just have somebody like scout out A, kind of just jiggle peek everything.
Yeah.
If you don't see anything at all, you just are like, it's probably an A retake.
Well, we do have Complexity going to go for a counter boost this time, and at the moment, FNX hasn't even spotted it. The problem is yeah, Def's not necessarily going to look all the way on top of the boost, so it just ends up with FNX getting the double kill anyway. And not only that, but Lucas killed Desi. I imagine your checkers or the box over there somewhere. Pretty quick execution, as Complexity just aren't able to get much done in the second round.
Yes, now Complexity going into their full eco. And you're right, as soon as FNX gets past this area, why would Def ever check behind them? It's just not going to happen.
And so now we will see the Immortals splitting up once again into this round, just to take it slow, of course, and make sure they don't end up walking into a 5-man stack. They may end up doing that with 1 or 2 of their players by circumstance, unfortunately, since they've got a 4-man stack on Highway, and 1 more sitting in A main, and 1 behind the box actually, but they still check for it. So FNX gets 1, Lucas gets 1 as well. I mean, not bad at all here in the amount of kills they're actually escaping with. The problem is going to be getting much done beyond what they just accomplished there in mid, as Bolts rolls in and does pick up the double kill to end it.
That's so annoying when you're, I think it was Steel, and you're just pushing up and they just run away from you into middle. It's so annoying.
So now this takes us...
Like, I wanted to fight you. I wanted to get the kills.
Yeah,
You just ran away to my teammate while you're holding W. Just gifting Bolts the kills, man. Like, I wanted that.
So now Complexity, again, buying into it, but again, much like many of these first-round CT buys, it's not going to be the greatest. Scattered amounts of utility, basically just the basics. And M4s, no op to play with here. As Immortals are all just going to work together to slowly move into A main and kind of prep for a straightforward execute to take control. And Def is probably going to be your pressure player out. Nobody checks towards Forklift when he moves out, so he just ends up with a double kill. Slemmy makes it 3. They're trying to get flashbang or something against Slemmy, but he's kind of ready for this now. If anyone else pushes back out, and obviously reinforcements are going to be moving back in. Android's here. He's got another player, I think, pushing behind him too. That was Surreal, so that's actually a pretty easy closeout.
Yeah, very clean round for Complexity. They just kind of fake B with nades, and that was it, and then just go out A. Going through a smoke, and that flash isn't going to get dead because he's hiding behind the fork. And then as soon as he gets those kills, Slemmy swings out. It's pretty easy for Complexity to hold off that.
So Complexity getting right back into the match. They still probably have this gun round to go before they do successfully break the Immortals economy. But Immortals are just going to slow it down now after a direct A play doesn't really work for them. They still, granted, will send players into A main, and this is going to be, I think, for FNX sitting inside of there. But also Steel close up to the doorway here. I doubt he's going to be able to detect Def unless he wants to go for a really early push on this one. He just barely gets that kill.
What Def is thinking there?
Yeah, Def just swinging out wide, taking a battle. Even if we do see FNX going down from the start, then his teammates sitting in Squeak can just pop up in the doorway and get the trade anyway.
Absolutely. That spot made 0 to little sense.
When he was close to the door, I can kind of see, because then he can kind of try to hold the situation from the door, but
not really. I mean, maybe with like a CZ or something. Like,
yeah.
That way, if the door opens, you know, and you're on like a low buy, it might be worth the risk. But this is a fully bought round, a super important round for you. Just doesn't make any sense.
Well, we've got a lot of pressure in mid that these guys can try to bounce back on, and it's 1-1 to start.
That was smart by coL.
Yeah, ends up in the favor of Complexity as Surreal does move in after they lose Slemmy to trade that back out. He's very low, though, but so is going to be FNX from his earlier engagement where he picked up the kill against Def. Now Desi has to hope he can go unnoticed here from sitting in the 1-and-1 corner. He might just be able to swing back in, catches Henny deploying nades. His last player's not doing too well either as Steel sneaks in 1 more kill, but that's going to be it. Android takes out the other 2 that tried to push into the site, and it secures an 8th round for Complexity, and should put Immortals onto a light buy here.
That was really smart by coL. They both leave A, kind of gamble a little bit towards middle, double up Highway. They get the better of the kills, and they still have 2 towards B.
So So things working out for them, and now it gives these CTs a chance to try and build something up, an economy build up, even the rounds building up to try and tie up this match as well. They are still looking a little bit limited to that degree, as you can see here. So hopefully escaping through this kind of limited, you know, some players buy nothing on Immortals, others Steel is able to go for like a full Tech 9 armor kit there. So it's a little bit mixed on the Immortals side, but they are going to try to go 3 out of the doorway there, and there's actually a team kill in the process too. But it ends up even down to a 3v3 after they actually get in. It should, they still get the bomb across, but they actually should be in a pretty good position to be able to very least secure the plant, and they do end up smoking that cross to allow Henny to safely go in. So the plant's secured, gives them the extra bonus money. I'm imagining, of course, that was one of the main goals of this run. Now they need to try to actually upset it on it as well, and oh, Android had a free chance on Steel, flubs it a bit. Thankfully, Molotov's going to send him out. Easy closeout for Android and the other remaining members of coL, and they do seem to handle the other two without too much conflict.
Yeah, small window of opportunity for Immortals to kind of win that round. I mean, I believe the bomb was planted for them as well, but a little bit too aggressive over there at quad, kind of peeking and then jumping back into it. Just an easy Molotov. Just need to be a little bit more creative with their spots.
Yeah, and now this brings us back into the next buy for the Immortals here, where they do still split up into that usual default pattern that we've come to expect now from basically every team on this map. And Bolt's patiently waiting over here in the sunroom as well to see if Complexity are going to try to get a little bit more aggressive with their B play. They certainly have, but not to the degree that Bolts would have been able to spot this early on in the round. Took him a few moments to get inside of the sunroom. In the meantime, Desi pushed out behind the box. I think he did spot Surreal and was tagged as well. He's going to be brought down to 23 HP as he sort of hit through the wall there. So survives the encounter, but only just barely. And now if Desi wants to, he can definitely push in.
Hated him for 17.
A little bit more and he would have been a dead man there, but thankfully he was able to dodge that extra bit of damage. Getting himself out of harm's way, at least for right now. But also, a lot of the presence being restricted by Immortals, or excuse me, by Complexity, for the Immortals inside of like A-Main and whatnot. Android with a good swing, takes out Lucas.
Shot.
They got out to mid for free, but the good shot from Android immediately causes them to more than likely freeze here, as they're going to be brought down to 4, with them still having nothing to show for any of this, besides that little bit of mid-control. They haven't been able to push in towards A at all. He's still Steel, just kind of waiting and Squeaky for a signal to move out or fall back, which looks like he's going to take the latter of that option. The rest of the team trying to re-aggress into mid, but they do have to be very, very cautious, not only of, you know, Android peeking from Z, but there being a consistent presence from Highway as well, and that's certainly going to be something that they'll have to worry about here, since, you know, in either Death or Slemmy can really peek back out and have an effort here. There you go, Slemmy's going to get one. Henny does get traded, but Slemmy goes back to A-Main, counters out the push from Steel over there, or excuse me, towards Squeaky. But now Henny and Bolt's at 8 HP. He really can't do much that's aggressive, but Henny, beautiful shot. Just unfortunate that they were still both set up to close out on that round on the Complexity side.
Yeah, not much time left with that Highway split. Complexity, after that 4v5 by Android, he just sits around Z. He can rotate to B quick, he can rotate to A quick from White Truck. If he rotates to A, the B player comes and kind of picks up Z. And despite a couple nice shots by Henny, I mean, Complexity putting together a solid CT side.
Good reaction shot from Henny, just a little bit too late into the round there to have too much effectiveness. And now Immortals, strenuous process brings them right back down onto a half by here. And they are walking into what should be a pretty well-sprung trap. Desi waiting up on top, but doesn't get anything actually. And Android's slightly overwhelmed too. Still sneaks in a kill, but that's full sight control now for the Immortals. 2 AKs picked up as well. One is sitting in the hands of a player without armor, mind you, so that may get tossed over to someone else possibly, but in the tenseness of the situation, that may not end up happening, which means Henny is going to have to be a little bit reliant on cover to really have a lot of effectiveness. Now for the rest of Complexity, trying to wrap back in quickly. They are sending Def and Slemmy through the halls. No one is watching that, so they're actually going to get free access to it, but they still might move pretty slowly on it. And look at Surreal right now. He's got FNX so low by shooting through it. He did hit him with a pistol a few times, but doesn't want to take the chance on the op. So now he's just going to toss Molotovs and utility out to give his teammates room to push back in. Molly moves out. They did see Lucas, however, finishing the job on Surreal as Slemmy tossed in the nade to take down FNX. They already knew they had him low back there. Def finding another one. Henny with the trade leaves Slemmy alone. He doesn't know where to look as Henny picks up the last kill with a P250 and gives Immortals the round.
No, just a hair by Complexity. So that round, right? You know it's like a Tech 9 round. And I mean, the checker site setup, I would probably rather have like a Heaven site setup in that situation, or double site setup, or back checkers and then site. But there's nothing happening anywhere else on the map. So why are you not using your nades, using your utility like earlier on, as Lucas just runs out middle into Surreal? Easy kill for Surreal.
Yeah.
But if you're Complexity there, like, it's either that or a door pop. Like 90% of the time in that situation. And they smoked that B main. I mean, you should be tossing flashes. You should be Molotoving as soon as anything happens. You should never get caught out like that. It just should not happen.
Well, while Immortals did escape with that last run, the real problem is going to be that them continuously trying to kind of sort of brute force their way through this T side. They sent a second player out peeking against the Opper from the Complexity side now, and they've lost him again. As Surreal just gets himself the second kill there. Now, this time against FNX, peeking around the white box in the highway. So, Immortal's going to have to try make the best that they can with this triple stack. Look at oh, Surreal actually missing, and again missing that shot. And what's even worse is he lost his two teammates on A. So now we're back to an even battle all of a sudden. If he got that kill, this could have been just an easy 3v2 closeout on the retake there, as Immortals have not looked that good on their A side post plants. But now the problem is it is going to be an even battle, and they have basically zero intel, so after his Henny, they don't try to molly him out at all. He does waste all of his ammo, so he's kind of out of the picture for right now. Bolt's a little bit messy, but he gets the kill, gets the job done. Surreal blind as a bat. He also goes down to steal. And now this is Immortals pushing forward once more up to 14.
Yeah, and those missed op shots are... I mean, he gets the first two, but that shot
These
right
are the
there.
big ones that end up costing him around?
Well, I mean, the first two were big too, but, you know, regardless of that, like, you never want to say, oh, I did my job, I got two or something like that, because you could have won the round right then and there, probably, for your team. Now you're put on a save, and Immortals on 14, so this should put them on game point.
Yeah, unless we see some crazy stuff going down. Bolts catching Android, just pushing back out. It seemed like they missed the Q on the utility. This time it gets deployed, but Bolts is still kind of ready for it. Just a little messy on the spray there as he's down to 3 HP on the repeat. Desi's finally going to take him out. In the meanwhile, while all this was happening, though, Immortals took basically free control of A.
Yeah, if I could touch up on what I was talking about a bit earlier with, you know, why that shouldn't happen at B. So, you know it's a very low buy. They haven't made any other noise on any other side of the map. So when they throw that B main smoke, obviously it's like a huge tell that they're either going to come B or they're going to do a fake off of it quickly and try to go outdoor maybe. Those are like the main things that are going to happen in those situations versus Tech 9s, right? So if you just use your utility, just one Molotov and like a flashbang and maybe like a nade kind of in and out, and then do something like that, by the time they actually hit the site, they're either going to go into a Molotov or go into your utility, or the smoke's going to dissipate, and then it's easy from there, right? Once that B main smoke isn't there, like, it's pretty easy for you to hold. And at that time, your teammates are already going to be leaned over. So as long as you delay enough for you to have that like type of information, you're going to win the round. And they're not going to have another smoke in that situation, right? They're not planning for that. They want to go through that smoke, right? They want to utilize that. They don't have a backup smoke, most likely. So you got to play to their win conditions and play against that. And then that doesn't happen.
Yeah, so now Immortals, as you mentioned before, getting themselves a map point here. And what's really interesting is looking at the economy aspect of this. I think it's only 3 rounds straight one so far for the Immortals, but Seal has already 11k built up in the bank. As you can see, he's still working with an M4 off of that round that they stole. So now Lucas trying to push back in. They are actually going to have a pretty intense battle here for the B halls. 2 for 1 so far. Surreal still stuck behind the box, and they know it. The smoke moves in, but it's a second too late, and he peeks a second too early. So they're going to know that that's rolling in from a mile away. And you can see that 11k right there. Desi moving back in through mid. Brings some light to the table here for the guys on Complexity. He even brings Henny, I think, really low, down to 12 HP. Now it's up to Def, though, in a 1v3 to try and save his team, keep them in this match, and at the very least give them a chance at OT. But immediately mollied up. He doesn't have any utility at all. The second he's spotted, he'll more than likely be a dead man, but he has some players low. There's the first kill. Transfers the spray onto the second, but he's caught reloading and trying to fall back, so that's going to put an end to it. FNX just barely closing out there for the Immortals, and they will take it at the end of the day, 16-10.
Yeah, and a few rounds there that Complexity kind of blows are, you know, the difference makers in that. They lose the second round starting on their T side. They lose that eco round essentially at B. And then that round where Surreal got those first 2 in those 3v5s, right? If you're going to give up 3 rounds like that, you're not going to beat a team like Immortals. If they didn't, you know, they definitely could have won that match.